Hello and welcome back to another edition of Goji's Thrift Box, where I reach into my little treasure chest of secondhand toys, pull something out, and tell you a story about it. Let's see what's coming out of the Thrift Box today. Well, it must be October again. Spooky season is upon us, and during this time of year, I like to talk about monsters. I'm sure most of you have heard of a discount store chain in the US called Dollar Tree. I've spoken about it several times on this channel, in my Christmas stocking stuffers idea video, as well as several videos covering the Final Faction Dollar Tree action figure line. Every once in a while, you'll find some weird and unusual items being sold in the toy section at Dollar Tree. And that was the case with these figures. Back in the year 2006, Dollar Tree sold a line of figures and novelties called Creepy Classics. A line made up of different characters from several different classic monster films. There were 6 different monsters featured in this Creepy Classics series. Each monster in the series was released in 3 different forms. There were 2-inch tall PVC figures, finger puppets, and novelty playing cards. There are several unusual things about this line, the biggest of which seems to be that these are all unlicensed bootleg versions of these classic monsters. Starting off, we have 3 characters based on the classic Universal monster characters of the 1930s. The first is Dracula, based on the original 1931 film starring Bela Lugosi.
I am Dracula.
The next is the Frankenstein monster. But the branding on that figure was not from the original Boris Karloff film, but from its sequel, 1935's The Bride of Frankenstein. There was not a figure of the Bride in this series, so why they branded this figure with The Bride of Frankenstein instead of the original film is a mystery. And the third Universal monster in this set is the Mummy, from the 1932 film also starring Boris Karloff.
Death, eternal punishment for anyone who opens this casket.
The Mummy. Is it dead or alive? Human or inhuman? You'll know. You'll see. You'll feel the awful, creeping, crawling terror that stands your hair on end and brings a scream to your lips. There's nothing on earth like the Mummy.
You will not remember what I show you now, and yet I shall awaken memories of love and crime and death.
Now I know his horrible plan. He is going to kill her and make her a living mummy like himself.
And that mummy is one of the 2 figures that I have in the Thrift Box. He's about 2 inches tall. He's in his classic hands crossed from inside the sarcophagus pose. As you can see, the head is a little bit big. It's not exactly the super deformed proportions you'd see in Japanese style toys or Funko Pops. Just a little bit big. The sculpting on him is actually quite nice for a small bootleg figure. They've sculpted all the individual bandages, top to bottom. And on the back of the figure, we can see some branding that says, Copyright 2005, X1X, Movie Archive, Inc. No mention of Universal Studios. If you're a fan of Universal Monsters or monster toys in general, these weren't a bad little pickup at the time for just $1. The next 2 figures in the line are the 2 most famous giant monsters to come from movies. The first is King Kong, based on the original 1933 film.
Of you. Why, in a few months it'll be up in lights on Broadway. Kong, the 8th wonder of the world!
Wild, weird, wonderful. The stuff for which movies were made. Adventure, to make you wonder if it's true, while your eyes convince you that it is. Truly, the thrill of thrills. Don't miss it this time.
And the next is Gojira, aka Godzilla, King of the Monsters, from his original 1954 film.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror to wreak vengeance on mankind. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, it's alive! A gigantic beast, stalking the earth, crushing all before it. In a cyclonic cavalcade of electrifying horror, raging through the streets on a rampage of total destruction. Dynamic violence, savage action, spectacular thrills. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Astounding beyond belief, the mightiest monster of them all. See Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
And the next strange branding choice, they have simply named this figure King of the Lizards, with no mention of the name Godzilla anywhere. Again, it's anyone's guess as to why this was done, but perhaps they didn't want to put the actual name Godzilla on there because they were aware of how litigious Godzilla's owners, Toho Studios, can be. Toho has been well known to send a cease and desist or to outright sue anyone that they think is infringing upon Godzilla's trademark and copyright. From my own personal experience, when I opened my Redbubble shop and put up merchandise with my self-created logo on it, I of course called it Gojitron after my username and my channel name. But soon after, Redbubble took down my listings and sent me an email saying the cause of that was due to a trademark infringement from Toho Studios. So I had to re-upload my own logo and call it the generic name of Cyborg Lizard rather than Gojitron, because apparently Toho's lawyers take offense to my username. No one is beneath the notice of the King of the Monsters attorneys. The 6th and final figure I'm going to look at from this series is the one I find the most fascinating. Given that Creepy Classics chose 3 of the classic Universal monsters, you would think that their werewolf choice would be based on the Universal Monsters classic The Wolfman starring Lon Chaney Jr. But no, they went in a completely different direction and created a bootleg figure from the Hammer film classic The Curse of the Werewolf starring Oliver Reed from 1961.
The Curse of the Werewolf, that was laid on a baby who grew into a man possessed by a monster. To this Spanish town, the night brought drinking and dancing, music and girls, and the moon. The full moon that turned an innocent man into a savage beast. The curse of the werewolf, a man possessed by a desperate need for love, who found in Christina all the passionate sincerity of youth.
Christina, do you love me? Will you marry me, Christina? You say you love me, will you marry me?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Help me! Get away! Get away! Get away! No!
And here I have the second figure from my thrift box, which is that Curse of the Werewolf figure. This is highly unusual to me because there have never been any official toy figure releases from this film. There's different memorabilia. I believe there was a licensed mask that came out, and maybe some model kits, but no actual action figures or toys. So I find it fascinating that this bootleg toy line chose this particular werewolf to create. And the figure itself is a really nice little representation of that character. Just like the mummy figure, the head seems a little bit big, but not as oversized as the mummy. And again, we get that same copyright information on the back of this figure as we did with the mummy, saying that this is property of X1X Movie Archive, Inc. Here I have the original card back from that Curse of the Werewolf figure. A very simple card. It had obviously a blister on the front that held the figure, with the Creepy Classics logo at the top. And on the back you get a trading card sized version of the card artwork that says, "Cut out your own mini poster." And here we see that copyright again, 2006, property of X1X Archive, Inc. I did a Google search of X1X Archive, Inc. And it seems they specialized in creating bootleg merchandise from classic films. There was also a series of minifigures based on The Wizard of Oz, and they seem to put out a lot of those playing cards with movie poster artwork in special tins. I actually found a picture of the back of one of those tins that was from a set of playing cards that used the movie poster from the film My Fair Lady. And on the back it reads, "All original artwork is based on original movie publicity posters. All designs are property of X1X Movie Archive, Inc. This product is not affiliated with Warner Brothers, i.e. My Fair Lady." So they're telling you right on the merchandise that this is in fact a bootleg, and that they think they have the legal right to use artwork from old movie posters to create merchandise. Is that actually a thing? The answer is further research revealed that Warner Brothers did in fact take X1X Productions to court and sue them for copyright infringement, a case which Warner Brothers won, with the result being an award of $2.57 million to Warner Brothers. So yeah, I guess nice try, X1X Archive, Inc. The other information we can see on the back of this card is that it was distributed by Greenbrier International, Inc., the same company that distributes many other toys as well as household and cleaning products to the Dollar Tree chain, including the Final Faction toy line. I couldn't find much about Greenbrier International, Inc., but it seems that they are actually the parent company of Dollar Tree. That's all for this trip into Goji's Thrift Box. I've always been fascinated by the world of knockoff and bootleg toys, and sometimes you just have to wonder how certain companies get away with it. And the answer is that sometimes they don't. Now I'll let these little guys make some new friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.